Hi everybody, today we're going to learn how to make a digital painting that has nice texture in it, like brush strokes. So you can almost see how that might feel, right? That's the quality of texture. And we're going to make it from a photograph that looks like this, and we're going to make it into a painting. It's really easy to do. There's a great tool here, and it's a lot of fun to play around with to see what results you can come up with. And then we're also going to be using a layer mask here to the layer mask is kind of cool because it shows what's underneath. The black areas become transparent, the white areas remain the same. So when it becomes transparent, you'll see what's underneath it. In this case, it's the original photograph. So let's get into this and start creating this from the start. We're going to go to the File menu, press New. If you haven't, oh, sorry, let me take a step back. If you haven't done this already, you need to download an image to work from. For this assignment, you can use a portrait. You could use a particular landscape if you'd like. You can use a image of a pet or an animal to create this. The only thing that needs to be understood is that it needs to be kind of have a particular focus to it instead of just kind of like random general things. So if you're going to do a portrait of a pet or an animal, make sure that you have a nice close-up of that pet or animal as the focus, okay? Okay, so let's get into, oh, sorry, one more thing. You need to download the brushes from Canvas, and we are looking at this set of brushes right here. It is called Texture Labs Oil Paint. You'll find the files attached to the assignment, and you want to download them and install them. All right, because we're going to be working with these guys here. And you can tell they're art history brushes because they have this little paintbrush and a curly cue right here on the side. And now let's get started. File, New. We're going to go up to the menu at the top here. You got all these options here so we can see different formats. Print, we're going to go to tabloid. Click on it. It's 11 inches by 17 inches at 300 pixels per inch, and we're going to name it Art History Brush. This is the first exercise that we're going to do with this. We're going to do more with it. Take a look here. Orientation. You choose. Is it going to be in portrait mode or landscape mode? A lot of it's determined by the position of your subject. So in this particular case, the photograph is wider than it is tall. And so I chose to do it in landscape mode, but I'm going to do a new one and I'm going to do it in portrait mode. It's going to look like this. So I'm going to select this and press Create. You'll see a new document. The first thing I'm going to do is go to File, choose Place, Embedded, and I'm going to go to the folder where I saved my work at, Multimedia 2 Semester 2, Art History Brush 01 is the folder that we're in. I'm going to do this portrait of Jerry Garcia right here. I'm going to click Paste. And then I want to increase the size of this. And so if I hold the Option key down, first off, you want to make sure that the width and the height are linked together. So this is width, this is height. And the link in between says if you change one, it'll change both. You can turn that off, but let's keep it on for this. Hold the Option key down and then click and drag, and you will scale up the image. We need to fill up that canvas for us. Now, I kind of like this American flag on the side here, so I'm going to slide it over just a little bit. I'm going to move my subject off to just off center, so we get all this stuff in the same image here. And then I'm going to press OK. You can do it from here, you can do it from here, or you can hit the return key to add that in. If we look at our layers now, you'll see we have two layers. We're going to combine these two together, holding the Shift key. We're going to click on one, holding the Shift key. We're going to click on the other, and then we're going to press Command E. And we'll wind up with this. Now the next thing that's important is we need to open up our history panel. And the history panel shows us everything that we've done in a document up to, there's a certain number of steps, but I think it's up to like 50 steps. Maybe you can set it to be more than that too, but in this case you can see we only have 3 steps here. We did a new document, we placed an embedded object into it, and then we merged the layers. And what we want to do next, this is crucial for this project, is we need to hit this button right here. It says create a new document from the current state. And when we click this button, you'll see now that the history says duplicate state, and that's all we have. There's one more move we're going to make before we start to play around with this brush, and that is we are going to copy this layer by pressing Command J to duplicate it. And this is the layer that we're going to mess with. This is the layer that's going to stay the same. And so let's get into it. The art history brush lives over here in the toolbar. It's behind the history brush. So just hold your cursor down over the top of this button right here and come and select the art history brush. It's different than the history brush. It's the art history brush. I'm going to start out this project with just this one right here. This is in the Texture Labs oil paint. I'm going to click on this button, and this is an 800 pixel. It's called One Large, and one thing that I want you to see up here at the very top is these are the settings for that tool. And it has opacity settings, it has blend mode settings, and the style right here is the one that is going to change, and this changes with each one of these. You can see this one says tight short, dab. A lot of these say dab, tight short, and you can mess around with these settings and see how the results come out. These are things you can change. So if you click here, you can change the style of how this brush works. Just by default, I'll go through really quickly. It goes like this. I'm just dragging this over the top of my image, and you'll see it's leaving lots of brush strokes and kind of a general idea of what the painting is underneath it. Now what's interesting is you'll see I keep going back and over the same part and kind of reveal different parts to it. And also, and this is a real loose style of painting, right? As you can see, there's lots of brush strokes. I love the way this stuff works. It looks like a painting, and there's more that we can do to add to it. But if you reduce the size of the brush now, the brush strokes that you will make will start to be smaller. And so you can bring in bigger brush strokes and then finer detail in different areas, kind of working back and forth. Maybe you want, to show the nose and the eyes and the mouth a little bit more. Let's reduce the size of the brush just a little bit and see how that works, right? So now we're bringing back some of that lost detail in there. And this is the general overview of how this tool works. It's really simple, and it has a lot of cool results to it. So let's check out a different brush here. This one's, oh, by the way, take a look at my history brush states now. So in the history panel, by the way, if you can't find this, it's window history. All right. Let's see, the icon looks like this. You might see that if you click on this button, you can show the whole thing. But you can see I can go back in time on any of these, everywhere that I've clicked, and it will make a new layer. So that was one big long stroke that I made right there. But you can go back in history on this. The art history brush. All right, let's take a look at some of the different things you can do too. So if I switch tools, this one works a little differently. This one also makes painterly marks, but it has a certain setting to it. This is called the tight short, and it says it's the style is tight and short. The area is 500 pixels around the brush itself. So you can see we're kind of making this portrait from the photograph. It looks like it's painted. If we zoom in on it, you'll see nothing but brush strokes. And there's all kinds of different ways that you can use this. And we're trying to create what we might call an impressionist painting out of this. And the impressionist movement was a movement that happened in Europe in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and people were starting to break away from painting just perfect portraits and started to show more of their brush strokes. And it looked a lot like this, just giving an overall impression of what the subject looked like rather than painting all of the details. Now let's dig in a little bit further. I like this fine brush for digging in and kind of bringing back the details of the eyes. Eyes are the window to the soul, and they're helpful to show. This is a very small brush, and I'm just bringing back some of the details of the nose, maybe a little bit of the cut of the mouth there. I'm liking the way this is looking. I might clean up some of the edges around here, so just switching up the brush and trying different things. And these are presets that were made by the person that made these brushes, But you can also experiment with these too. So let's take that brush and say, well, let's try these tight curl but long. Oh, that's interesting. Kind of looks like Fruit Loops or something in here. That's one way to look at it. Let's increase the size of the brush and see what happens there. Whoa, that might be a little too crazy. Interesting marks though. Let's reduce the brush size again. Go in and paint in some of these sections. Let's try a different one. Loose curl. That kind of looks like this. I don't know, guys. I think I'm liking the original version of this brush a lot better. Let's go back. This is my favorite one right here. These big brush strokes like this. Now, again, we're trying to reveal some of the detail, but leave it with a painterly look. You can go really big with these brushes too and leave some, you know, just here and there, like slap in some big brush strokes of color and then reduce the size of the brush and come in and make some smaller brush strokes in here as well. And just playing around with, you know, making it look interesting, giving it a painterly look to it. And it's just coming straight from a photograph. Really simple. Not a widely used tool, I don't think. Although it seems like such a great starting point for a lot of different things that you could do visually. But what I wanted to focus on was just the brush strokes, because we're going to be diving into painting more with our tools as painterly tools and drawing tools, like a professional digital artist would. And I just wanted to see how these marks look. You know, this is done automatically. You can also do this same technique on your own if you understand how to use the tool. So let me show you one more thing here, and this is the last thing I'm going to introduce in this project, and then I'm going to leave you to work. We're going to add this object right here. So we're going to select the top layer, and we're going to click on this button right here. Look right here. It says Layer Mask. It says, yeah, Layer Mask. And the Layer Mask looks like this. It's just a white rectangle. You'll notice that it's linked to the thumbnail here. And what you do with this is you paint in black and white. And you can paint in shades of gray too, but the idea is that we're painting in black and white in general. And black will allow colors to come, will allow the layer below to show through, and white will cover them back up. So what that looks like is this. I'm going to get a textured brush to kind of stay in the theme of being textured here. And as I paint into this space, now I have the flow set really low on this brush because I don't want it to happen all at once. But I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to paint right around the eyes and maybe reveal some of the original photograph here. So we have kind of a push and pull back and forth. It's like, you know, it's partly the photograph, it's partly the painting, and I just want to kind of bring back some of the details here. I like the big brush strokes. That might be too much. And you notice I'm painting in black, and what the layer looks like is this. This is what the mask looks like. This is everywhere that I've painted in black on the layer mask is showing the layer below it through it. So this is the edge of the chin. Here's the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the cheek. This is the hat up here at the top, and you can see those things showing through up here, right? And the more I paint, the more they show. Now, if I want to switch back, you can click this button right here. Press D for the default colors. You'll see white is on top, black is in the back. You can reverse those two by pressing the letter X or clicking on this button right here. Let's press the letter X. I'm going to paint in white now, and it will bring back this layer because it's not covering it up anymore. So you can show some of the details, and then you can hide some of the details as well, to kind of push and pull back and forth, revealing and covering up parts of the quote-unquote painting as you see fit. Like maybe I want to show a little bit of his jewelry right here. Maybe I want to show he's got this weird claw necklace on. And then if you want to cover them back up, just switch back to white, paint over those sections. You'll go right back to this layer that's right here. So when we paint here, we're showing this layer. When we paint in white, we're showing this layer. All right, so that's the process right there. This is just our introductory painting exercise. This will take really just about one class session. And so we're going to do that today. Go ahead and save it, Command S. And if you get the option to save to Creative Cloud, I would say go ahead and do this and name it. If you didn't already, Art History Brush. And this one is Jerry Garcia. You can click Save. If you don't see this, you can save on your computer, and I'll show what that looks like. So we'll go save on the computer. You want to navigate to that shortcut that we made here to your folder with the Art History Brush. Go ahead and press Save, and we've got a saved copy of that. Now, to export this and to get a print of this, let's do this. File and export, and quick export as a PNG, and then to the same folder again, export this file. Save it. And I think what I'd like to have you do is make a print of this today, and we're going to change up the artwork in the classroom so we can see your awesome work that you made. Hope you had fun with this one. Take care. I'll see you next time.